My apologies. I don't know what happened. My intro didn't start. I know I just dropped a quick check-in, but I need to do this for me. If anybody else watches it, that's great. I have the comments on just in case you do. I came across a video of myself from July 4th, 2017. And I haven't watched it. I vaguely remember it, but I want this out here. This is Jen. This is hopeless Jen, still trying to claw her way out of homelessness. And after spending the entirety of July 4th from sunrise until midnight making this video for a project, and nothing went right that day. So at the end, I look very shiny because I'm sweaty. But I sat down in the back of this transitional living place I was staying at for people who were, getting themselves out of homelessness. I had gone from shelter to shelter, and then to, excuse you, and then to this place here, which is where I left about, excuse you, really, seriously, this is like a serious thing that I'm doing right now. I left, I would say, maybe 5 weeks after I made this recording of myself. And ow, look at this guy. I guess he doesn't want me to show it. So I am going to sit here with my cat, and I'm going to react to this video of myself in 2017. Oh, hang on a second. I apologize. Give me 1 second. Hi. Good to see you. Okay, maybe this will be a little bit better. I do apologize. Oh, God, it's so bright. No, that's not the right channel. Just give me 1 moment. I found this, and might not be interesting to anybody, but I want this out here for the world to see, for me to know. This is about a 23-minute video of myself in 2017. And let's see if we can get this playing. All right. I think I've got it now. I really don't expect anybody to, many people to pop in here because, like I said, this is off the cuff, last minute. I saw this and just decided that I need to watch it. So I want to get my raw, just looking at my face right now. I want to get my raw reaction of this. So this is me at 11:45 p.m. on July 4th, 2017. I would say enjoy, but I don't know what to expect here, so I don't remember everything. So now comes the hard part, the end of the night. And I have to say, first and foremost, I apologize for my laryngitis. I've been doing a lot of talking today. Actually, I'm a little sick, but that didn't stop me. This project is not the project I planned to make. Through many obstacles, a comedy of errors, and just some bad luck, I wasn't able to fulfill the idea I had in my mind for this project. I wanted to wholly focus on the homeless people and their plight in Daytona Beach, the addiction, the mental illness, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to do that. I had asked 2 people to help me, and at the last minute, they both backed out on me. The last one being at 4:44 this morning when I was leaving the house. I would just like to comment at how amazing my tan was back when I lived in Florida. Like I said, I'm really emotional in this video, but I thought I would try to find a silver lining right off the bat. So back to the me from 1997. No, 2017. Thank you. But I decided rather than to give up, because I wanted to do this so badly, it meant so much to me, and that I went out there on a bike at 4:45 in the morning to ride over to the beach and get the sunrise and get this started and see what I could make of it. I think I've done pretty good. I've spoken to many homeless people today. Most of them didn't want to be interviewed or filmed, and I can understand that. There's a lot of paranoia that goes with mental illness, and some people are wanted and they just don't. They think maybe you're with the police and you're setting them up. But of course, that wasn't the case. But I saved this video for last because it's kind of my confession. Not to sound reality TV-ish at all, but so far the saddest thing is realizing that I felt that I needed to confess to the people that I was sending these recordings to, a confession about my real reason behind doing this project. It's sad. And it's sad because I don't owe anybody anything. This is my homeless story. Really, at the end of the day, is why I think I was searching and reaching out to other people to understand the last 5 years of my life and how I got here and how I'm fighting and clawing my nails to dig out of the hole so that I can be the creative, optimistic, loving person that I know that I can be. I became homeless in April of 2012. And honestly, I had a mental break over it. I would stay with friends. I had a car then. I was up in Detroit, where I'm from, and I would stay with friends. And my closest friend, I was staying with her. And after about 2 months, the lady who owned the property made me leave, and I slept in my car in a parking lot in Walmart for 2 weeks. And it was disgusting, and that was the beginning of my decline. I then was housed for the end of 2012 into the beginning of 2014, but still hadn't worked on the mental issues, the breakdown in my emotions, which meant that again in May of 2014, I became homeless again, living in my car, and decided, for no particular reason that I could understand, to move to Nashville. Yeah, because I was still running then. I hadn't yet figured out that what I was running from was in here. Drive down to Nashville and see what I could find. And what I could find was nothing but a uncomfortable Christian-run women's shelter. Let me say this. Nashville has amazing services for homeless people. They're wonderful. But of course, I didn't like being there. I had gotten into a relationship, and it was not healthy, and it was violent, and he was an alcoholic and a drug addict. And I was staying with him for a while, and it got too bad, and I had to run because it turns out he had been a known domestic abuser, and I didn't know that until Halloween night of 2014. I went and I hid. Another violent man named Jason outside a park in my car for 2 weeks. And finally, at the end of the 2 weeks, when I couldn't handle it anymore and I was sure I was going to die, I called a domestic violence shelter in Franklin, Tennessee that saved my life. And I stayed with them for 4 months, and they were amazing, and they helped me get out. I traveled around some more, stayed in Memphis for a bit, went to Savannah, Georgia. I stayed there for a few months. Didn't work out, and then I rekindled an old, ugly, toxic relationship that I had been going through off and on for 30 years since he and I were both 15 years old. And he had gotten in my brain and convinced me that it was a good idea to try it one more time. And I tried it. Needless to say, I got there in September 2015. And on January 24th, 2016, I ran. Just to my purse. And I ran to get out of there. That night it was 34 degrees in New Smyrna Beach, where I was living. Couldn't get any help from his family, his mom, and his sister. And I stayed outside all night. And part of the night I went to the hospital, and they helped me, and they had me call the domestic violence shelter here in Daytona. And I did, and they said that they really wanted to take me in, but the homeless situation in Daytona was so bad due to the fact that about 100 or so homeless people had, gone on strike, and they had decided that they found out that if they camped out on government property, they couldn't be arrested. So they picked an administration building on Beach Street on the inland side of Daytona, and they were all camping out there, but it was really cold, and I picked the wrong time, I guess, to run. It took me 3 days to get in that shelter. I met an amazing angel of a woman who tried to drive me around and help me find places to stay, and ended up putting me in a hotel for the 3 days that I was waiting to get into that domestic violence shelter so that I didn't have to sleep outside. And I remember being so scared that I was going to get caught. And about a month after I had been in the shelter, I finally turned my phone on. I just want to make a point here when I say that I was afraid I was going to get caught, that this domestic violence shelter was at it was half a mile from my ex's younger sister. So even going outside at any time, day or night, was something that was too scary for me, because they were actively looking for me and had even put a missing persons report out on me in my own account. And when I did that, it brought up all my social media, and it turns out that my ex's mom had passed away 4 days after I left, and his family, my sister, many people blame me for this woman's death. And this woman meant so much to me since I'm 15 years old. She was kind of a funky, wild role model, I guess you could say, and a mother figure. And I lost her too, like it wasn't just them. I lost her too, and I didn't kill her. When I went to her house, she turned her back on me and slammed the door. I don't think I had anything to do with that. And then my friend Cheryl had come down here March 2016. And I was working at this really cool bar. It was a drag bar in town, and I loved the job, and it was great. Had a really good time, was making good money. I was able to get Cheryl and I a place to stay. And then about a month into it, I broke my ankle and lost our place and my job within a week on the same day. We had to go to the Salvation Army. And that was probably one of the most humbling experiences. I stayed there from April 19th to the end of July or the beginning of August. And I remember when I got there because the next day Prince died. And within the first week of being at the Salvation Army in Daytona Beach, my big boot on supporting my ankle, Cheryl and I decided to go, talk outside and hang out. And I wanted to sit down, and all I wanted to do was sit down and have a cigarette. And we got arrested. Like, cops came from both sides of the road driving up like we were breaking into the building. And the owner of the building showed up. It's a spy shop, so that was kind of stupid of me to sit there. But we got arrested. And I had never been arrested in my adult life before. It was horrifying, and I spent 36 hours in that county jail in a block. Which, it means nothing to people who go to jail for a year and a day, or people who go to prison for 10 years or whatever. But to me, it was horrifying. Went back to the Salvation Army again in October. Stayed until December when I got a stalker, because they also house veterans. And this man had very serious mental issues. He was a kind man. He also took pills and drank. And he became obsessed with me. And I couldn't stay there anymore because he was like coming into my dorm, like the room that I was sleeping in. And, so I had to be rushed out to a domestic violence shelter for the third time in a town north of here called Benel. And that place was what I think started me on my journey back to myself. But then I ran away to West Palm Beach for a few months because I was just tired of looking over my shoulder, feeling like I was being hunted in some way. And I stayed at Cheryl's house. She came and got me in West Palm Beach. And I stayed at her house for 2 months. I had also applied to this place I'm at now, which is like a transitional housing, rooming house situation. Also very unusual for me. But what's happened since I've been here, I don't even remember, like 2 months I think I've been here. I started going to therapy, and I'm opening up, and I'm being active, and I'm doing things, that I haven't done in a long time. Like being human, not being looked at. And I still get looked at like I'm a prostitute because apparently women can't walk down the street in Daytona Beach without being considered a prostitute. Very annoying. But I feel like I'm coming back to life. I gave up on myself for 5 years. And I made a promise to Cheryl that I would give this living thing one more try. So that's what I'm doing. I don't really have a relationship with my family to speak of. Very long story. I was a really unhappy kid. But now having a little bit of stability, as in, somewhere that I know I can stay, gives me the opportunity. And my therapist, when I first started seeing her 6-7 weeks ago, suggested that I go out, because I love to photograph. It's one of my passions. Go out and find the beauty in the madness and the filth of this town. So I started walking around and taking photos of flowers on a barbed wire fence, the river, the ocean, birds, anything that I could find that was beauty. And then Friday, I still have those photos, and I still do that. It was some of the best advice I ever got. This tweet was posted about this project, Day in the Life of America, and I thought, I have to do this. I have to do this. think I've wanted to get all of this out of me for a really long time. And I know that I'm not as young as a lot of people that are posting. And I'm not as savvy, and my videos don't look as good because I was trying to do my best on my own. But I have put all of my passion and every bit of my heart in this. Just because I needed to exercise my self-deprecating demons. And I'm really glad I did it. And I really thank Jared and the team for giving us all the opportunity to share our perspective. The last thing I'm going to do, because I'm just crying, I'm going to answer the questions myself. My name is Jen. Sorry, I completely forgot about this. There was a list of questions, and I don't remember what they are now. One of them is like, what does America mean to you? Or I don't know, but it was all based on 2017. So it was when our country first started to show this decline in humanity. So these are my answers, and I don't remember them. So I'm not going to apologize for crying because I can't help it. I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan, and I currently live in Daytona Beach, Florida. What I think of America since I'm 7 years old. American history, government, politics has been another passion. I love this country. I am torn because I know a lot of bad was done to form this nation, and it was stolen from people who I share blood with. And that's tough too, but I'm so grateful to have been born here with the opportunities that I was born with. In my years, I've seen this world change a lot, and it's not as kind in this country, and it's not as open, and it's not as free, and there's not the opportunity that there used to be. And when I was young, I squandered my opportunity and my abilities, my opportunities. And now we find ourselves here. And I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to keep fighting. What the American dream is to me now, I'm not going to lie to you, I don't think it exists. I remember being a kid, and it was a really big thing in the, well, I wasn't alive, but like the 50s and the beginning of the 60s, it was post World War II. And people were spreading out, and making home elsewhere outside of the major cities, and, getting their houses and their children and community. But I think by the time I was a kid in the 70s and 80s, I think it was already starting to break apart, because the 80s were such a crazy time with the me generation and the yuppies. Like, I'm pretty sure that the guy who runs this country now was the king of the me generation. And I have to go look at the sheet. I'm so sorry. What is the state of this country to me now? It's horrifying. I'm not even going to lie to you. It's absolutely horrifying. I don't know what's going to become of us. I was afraid when I was a kid in the 80s, with Reagan in office. This is like, it still feels like a cruel joke. Like, we turned into a reality show, like a really messed up reality show. Like, let's make a deal with America. And where do we go from here? It's like that movie Idiocracy that, this guy goes forward in time and everyone's an idiot and everything's branded and sponsored, and it's a crazy weird place where a wrestler is the president, and then that's what I think of. I have been shocked since January 20th. No, not January 20th. I'm sorry. I've been shocked since October and just dumbfounded since January 20th. But that leads to the next question, which is what I'm afraid of. And what I'm afraid of is what becomes of us now. What becomes of those of us who don't make a pile of money. By wiping out the middle class, we're turning into a caste society, like old England, India, and it's just, I don't want to live like that. I've struggled enough. People have struggled enough. Gosh, we've got homeless vets on the street. People say they care about it all the time, but what is anybody doing about it? Very few people are doing anything about it. I got a soft estimate the other day from someone I know in the know, and he gave me the estimate of 24 to 30 veterans sleeping on the streets at night in Daytona Beach, and I don't believe that. I've come across at least 50, maybe 65. These people served our country, and they suffered immeasurably, and we're just like, oh yeah, let's help the veterans. Let's, pay into this charity and that charity, and it never reaches these guys that are on the street in a tent city because they're like scared of society. And lastly, my hopes and dreams. I still have dreams, and I still dream big. I don't care if I'm in my 40s. I'm not in my 40s in my brain. I still want to create, and I still want to lead with kindness and always be loving, regardless of how. Okay, sorry about that. I got interrupted. Someone came out for a cigarette. Back to my dreams. I dream to be a working artist still. It's been my passion forever. Since after my childhood when I wanted to be a ballerina and a truck driver. My dad was a truck driver. My hopes. I have general hopes, for other people, but I'm actually going to let this moment be about me. My hopes. I hope to get the life I want. I hope to use this opportunity to my advantage and stop running and let any moving I do be for a purpose, a good purpose. I hope to be able to continue to help people through advocacy and outreach, like I'm doing with the Coalition for the Homeless. And I hope to keep this happy and excited, passionate feeling that I have in this moment near midnight on 4th of July. I hope to keep that and build on it. And I want to live again. Lastly, I'll do the Pledge of Allegiance for I think the 3rd time today. I'll do it like I did when I was a kid in school. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That's my day in life, my America. Thanks. Well, shit. Really, I don't really know what to say. But that 47-year-old version of me, she didn't really believe what she was saying except for her hopes and her dreams and the stuff that she was just honest about. This was me 8 years ago. And I just felt like I had to share it. I don't know why. Um, I mean, I hope I hope that you all are right. I really do. You know what? And even if it's me that it helps, then whatever, I matter too. And I said, I know I've just literally put a video out saying that I wasn't going to do anything this weekend, but I came across this in an account that I don't use on YouTube, and as well as a video of the sunset in Daytona that I did, but I'm not going to show that. That's just like the ocean and my shaky selfie stick I had at the time. It was the only thing that I could get because I was technically considered a homeless person living in transitional housing, like a boarding house. And that was in the backyard upstairs in the second floor. And that's where all of us who smoked, because I still smoked cigarettes then. And thank you. Thanks. And I know that. I do. I just, she breaks my heart, and I'm just so glad that she made it. There were some difficult decisions to make, but, a year later, I was back here in Michigan. I was back here. My niece, who was 9 at the time, just kept begging me, when are you coming back? When are you going to move back? And I was back in Nashville, and I didn't have any reason to be there. And I came home from my job. We would get 2 weeks off in the summer, June 25th to the week, like whatever, after the week after 4th of July, and then Christmas and New Year we would get off. And so I came up here so that I had already been up here for Easter, and I was able to tell my niece the day after I got here, 3 days after I got here, I made the decision to stay. And I told my niece, and I have a photo of it, just after I whispered it in her ear from behind as we were posing for a photo, when I whispered in her ear that I was moving home. And now she's about to be 17 and a senior in high school. And it was the best decision I ever made, because as it turns out, I didn't just move back here for her. She was the jumping off point for me. She was the person, the heart, the soul that brought me back. But then to repair my relationship with my parents and to have 8 good years with my mom and Clay before we lost him in April, and to have all of this time minus 11 months with my dad and my sister. And I'm just, people say, like, I would go back and I would change this, I would change this. I always joke about, being that generation that didn't grow up with social media and phones to record everything. That would be really weird to watch. But catching these things is it's important to me, because it's a reminder. Hey, Lindsay, it's a reminder of who I am and how far I've come. And that moment was when I had begun to take fulfilling my heart and soul seriously, and working towards making myself happy and content and joyous. And this was literally 23 minutes of a glimpse into this person struggling her way out of, excuse you. You know what? He's got no boundaries, this guy. But I'm fine, bro. I'm sure you're really worried about that. It's amazing that I came across this, because this is a glimpse of the moment that it kind of all sank in for me, that I did want to live, and that I was going to live with purpose, and I was going to do things that mattered and helped people. And this was 6.5 years, whatever, I don't math, before I even found out about the industry. So I was still lost in my trauma, drowning in my trauma, and doing everything I could to take the cement boots off of my feet so that I could get out of the water. So I haven't seen that. In 9 years now. And whatever, that was 2017. 8 years. I haven't seen it in 8 years. And I am really happy that I watched it. I'm really happy that I live streamed it so that I could react to it in real time. I do like the idea of reacting to other people's videos, but I mean, how many of us can have an opportunity to react to our own videos? So there's a glimpse at me in 2017. Personal Independence Day. Yeah, living for me. It also happens to be my mom's birthday. But at that point, I wasn't thinking about that. We were not speaking at the time. So, yeah, so there you have it. My Independence Day, July 4th, 2017, and the beginning of my journey to me. Thank you all who have logged in and watched this with me. Thank you to the few of you who have chatted with me. I appreciate 3 of you very much. Indigo, Lindsay, and Lioness. I love me. I love you. I love humanity. And I have hope that we can get back to that again. Let's just try to be good to each other, okay? Good night, all. Take care of yourselves and each other and your kitties.